My name's Dr. Frances Black, and I'm a retired general practitioner. And one of the issues I've always been very concerned about is our choice to have a dignified death and the issues surrounding euthanasia. So as part of my retirement, I've decided to become more actively involved in that, and I've joined the Dying with Dignity committee, and I've put together a talk that I'm giving in my own regional area and collecting signatures, and I'm just amazed at the number of people who are so supportive of the whole issue. I shouldn't be amazed because the statistics actually support that, and in fact it's something like 85% of Australians. But what I do find is that even though people are really behind it, they want me to go out and do the work because it's a really threatening issue, and it's something that people don't want to think about. They want it organised for them, and they want to get to that point and have the choice to be able to make that decision.
What do you feel the response is within the medical community about the issue of voluntary euthanasia?
Well, I can only say that in our own area, we have what I've retired from is being the CEO of the Manly Warringah Division of General Practice, and our division, the board of that division, has decided to join the Dying with Dignity Association, and that represents something like 300 GPs. So that tells you something. But as with all issues, there are people who are for and people who are against.
Well, what is your core reason for supporting Dying with Dignity?
Personally, I have cancer, and I'd like to know that this was an option open to me if I was in a situation where I wanted to make the choice to end my life.
So do you have any messages to the politicians out there who have control over whether or not this legislation goes through?
Yeah, I certainly do. Please consider this bill, which will be introduced, we hope, next year. Please consider it very carefully. Do your homework, look and see how the other jurisdictions have got on. Consider the people who are suffering needlessly and extremely badly, and be compassionate.
You came to the
I'm
forum.
Dr. Suzanne, and I'm a GP on the North Beach in Sydney, in the Manly Warringah Division. We have the largest cluster of aged care in the state. I am dealing with aged care and palliative care patients just about every lunch hour. I still visit people in their home and nursing home, and on a daily basis I am asked by people to help them end their lives. I find this a great pressure on myself. I feel that I sometimes slide away from it. I try to be honest and explain that I cannot help them at this stage. It is illegal. My own sister's doctor in the country has been found guilty of manslaughter and is facing a 7-year jail term. This man gave 40 odd years of his life, 24/7 care to people in the country town. He's now in the town has lost their own dignity. They now have to drive 100 kilometres to another dignity. The whole town turned out and signed a petition for it meant nothing because on the letter of the law he was guilty of manslaughter. So I, as GP, would love to ease the suffering of my patient, but I cannot, because I do not want to go down that path. The law needs to be changed so that what may be happening quietly is legal. I would like to see the law changed so that a panel makes a decision on medical advice to allow the patient to take their own life. I do believe in voluntary assisted suicide.
I am absolutely a supporter of the right to choice about the end of one's life.
And why do you want the choice?
Because, well, for one reason, I've seen both my parents die very sad and undignified deaths. They had no control over their lives at that point. And I certainly don't wish to see my life come to an end in that way. Like most people, of course, I would love to conk out, go to bed and not wake up the next day, but realistically that's not going to happen. So I definitely would like the option to choose when I die.
My name is Olive Taylor, and I'm 88.
which is only 2 years old, bloody 90, which has come as a shock because when I was 85, I was quite active. And I think this is the trouble with politicians. They're still young and active. And they don't have the ability to empathise with people who are gradually having all their parts crumble and whatever.
You have basically a lot of parliamentarians who get threatened with the idea that all these religious people will vote them out. And I think whether that's an explicit or an implied threat, that's one of the things that's going on. Also, I have a vague feeling that a lot of politicians are perhaps squeamish about the issues. They're not wanting to really engage with it properly, rationally, or in a balanced sort of way.
I'm Patricia Seggy. I've joined Dying with Dignity and come along today. As the law stands now, I will probably have to suicide earlier, not later. I will end up depriving myself of some good time of life because I have to be fit, I have to know what I'm doing, I have to be fit enough to carry it out. I do not believe that it would be at all moral for me to use scarce medical resources being kept alive if I was just being kept alive in absolute misery. I don't think there is any point in that.
Is there a way to create legislation that the AMA would be satisfied?
I think there is. I think if we had a panel and then medical advice, including psychiatric advice to the panel, and then if the mechanism for the delivery follow something like DWDnsw in Switzerland, where it's even filmed and a volunteer helps the patient, it would take away that fear from both doctor and patient of a corruption of the doctor-patient relationship.
Hi, my name's Caroline. I'm 46. I'm a registered nurse and midwife, and I started my career at 18. I became interested in the organisation when I was 30, so I'm in that minority group of young people that have been wanting the choice to be able to end your life with dignity. I was watching people dying in hospitals or being resuscitated in their 90s and living a few days because there wasn't any ability for them to be able to choose or have a choice. It was the hospital decided their own destiny, and I thought that there should be a change to that. Unfortunately, at 44 I developed a neurological condition that isn't going to kill me, but I am suffering and will only suffer more as I get older because I'm already at the aged process even though I'm young, so it's only definitely going to get worse. And my pain with different pain teams cannot be managed, so I suffer the pain, and because I've got 2 small children in primary school. And eventually I want, when I'm finished doing my commitment to them, I will want the choice. I don't have a terminal illness, but I have a right to choose, not based on someone else's opinion. If I were to go to my clients and challenge their Muslim beliefs, I would be criticised, but other people are choosing my beliefs for me, so it's almost a discrimination against my right to choose my own life and its dignified end. I've been incontinent 4 times this week, and I think that dignity and pain and suffering isn't just measured in the nerve pains, it's your emotional pain and the loss of your life and your ability to have the life that you had. And those choices, I'm not depressed, shouldn't be measured by a politician or a religious leader. That is my choice, and I have to go away and attempt suicide on my own and maybe get it wrong is wrong. I need to be able to get it right without implicating my children or even letting them to watch that, if that be the case. And I think as far as where do we deal with the young people that are not looking at the, where are all the young people in this organisation? Stage 3 in some primary schools in New South Wales have rolled out the ethics discussion every week in lieu of religion, which my daughter attends, and maybe we need to start there with bringing up this discussion in the ethics classes of primary school children. My 12-year-old has a very strong and young mind, and we need to start spreading the word from there, I think.
So I'm absolutely convinced it will be safe. I think there's been a great deal of investigation right across the world. In other jurisdictions it's been operating for quite a long time. The results are extremely good, and it actually enables people to be able to choose to die with dignity and control.
Politicians in the AMA, listen to the people of Australia. Do not be influenced by the very small and vocal minority who are speaking loudly against it, and listen to the silent majority.
I have a major concern that's not happening quickly enough.